Unicorn fart dust. The UFD token is a meme coin that came pretty much out of nowhere. It's now a trending token on Solana, and the question is, can this current rally continue? Let's have a look at the buyers and sellers. Let's have a look at the on-chain metrics most people are not considering. So here are the trending tokens on the Solana chain ordered by their liquidity pool size. And Unicorn Fart Dust is already at number 5 with a liquidity pool of 3.4 million. At launch we have seen a massive rally. Since then we tend to see lower highs and potentially lower lows as well. Now what's going on? What's driving the current price action? The first time we heard about Unicorn Fart Dust was on the 18th of December because another channel that's also focused on crypto wallet research bought the token. So have a look at this. Across the Rubicon bought UFD for only 2 cents. Here's the channel. They've got 127,000 subscribers and they focus on wallet tracking as well. Very similar to this channel here. And Unicorn Fart Dust is associated with Ron's Basement, an investment channel with 52,000 subscribers and 28,000 followers on Twitter. Now on-chain we've got 33,000 holders. Not all of those holders are created equal, of course. Some of them might be automated trading bots that only hold a few cents of the token. Others might be whales that hold hundreds of thousands of dollars of the token. So let's have a look at this in more detail. I like to look at this following statistic pretty much for any token on this channel. And that's the number of retail investors versus whale investors over time. So to be counted for a wallet, in the left chart, the wallet has to hold at least 10,000 UFD tokens. Now at the current price, it's roughly $1,000 worth of the token. We go at 10x for the chart in the middle, so that's now 100,000 tokens or $10,000 worth of the token, and then another 10x, so that's now 1,000,000 tokens or $100,000 worth of the token. What do we see? We see initial adoption by all wallet cohorts upon launch, and since then, small retail tended to rather sell. Medium-sized retail kept their position, is potentially even acquiring a bit in the last few days. And the number of whales tends to now trend up again in the last week. So it seems like the selling pressure mainly happens from small retail. It seems like the rallies that we see is when the whales tend to buy. Now, I do not believe that the current accumulation by the whales is necessarily centralized exchange driven or market maker driven, because usually what we see in the data during those kinds of purchases is that the number of whales stays somewhat stable, but that the ownership, relatively speaking, of the entire token supply tends to go up for the whales. So it's a few whale wallets that buy up everything. This is not what we see for UFD. Small retail, medium-sized retail and large retail still hold a pretty stable fraction of overall supply. It's not like the wallets that own more than 100k worth of the token now have 80 or 90% of UFD. This is usually what we would see in case the ownership moves more and more to centralized exchanges for an upcoming listing, for example. Here we don't see that. Instead, we see simply how the number of whales is going up. It's a very different kind of purchasing dynamic. What's also important to note is that despite the price going up by 40% in the last 24 hours, there's actually not a lot of trading volume. So we've seen a nice rally, but the trading volume isn't really spiking. And again, especially upon launch, there was a lot of attention. Now this tends to trickle down. And the share between small retail, medium-sized retail, large retail and whales isn't really changing over time. Now there's an interesting shift happening in the last few days. It seems like money is not flowing into crypto anymore. There was a pretty strong expansion in the last weeks. This expansion seems to have halted. Have a look at this. This is the market cap of various stablecoins, so DAI, USDT, USDC, BUSD. And whenever this line is going up, this means that money is flowing from the traditional finance world into crypto. Whenever this is going down, it means like people are withdrawing from crypto. And the crypto market as a whole is rather shrinking. Since October of 2023, we are on expansion mode. But have a look at what happens in the last few days. We aren't yet clearly turning around, but we're definitely not growing either. Since the middle of December 2024, we tend to go sideways and we might even now shrink slowly. Now, as long as we are shrinking very slowly or we're going sideways, things are okay when we've got an edge in the market now, right? It's still player versus player, but as long as we have got data that's better than what most other people have, we can still make money. It simply just gets a bit tougher. Have a look at this here. This is the others dominance. So how much of all of crypto is in altcoins that are not in the top 10 and we seem to be somewhat historically in a trading range. Currently, we are not necessarily super elevated, but we are not at rock bottom either. The altcoins in aggregate could still continue to go down. In the last few days, we definitely did not go up. The potential underperformance of altcoins versus the rest of the market is another 16% loss. At the same time, Bitcoin is still above its best moving average, the 120-day, but there is potential, even in a continued bull market, to still drop by maybe 15%, all the way down to 80k. The market seems to be clearly shifting to artificial intelligence related tokens. The Virtuals protocol ecosystem gained 47% in the last week. AI agent launchpads in general performed very well. AI memes, AI agents, it's all artificial intelligence. What did not do so well? It's mainly the technical tokens. It's oracles, it's IoT, it's perpetual futures markets, it's data availability, infrastructure, etc. And so as we're becoming more and more player versus player, having somewhat of a market edge versus the others becomes more and more important. For example, have a look at this. This is Kyle Chessy, influencer Kyle Chessy, that bought AI16Z for only 1.8 cents. He actually bought into the token several times. He was dollar cost averaging very, very aggressively. And now the price is not at a few cents. Now it's at $1.77. Pretty much a 100x. And so this is how I believe we can get a market edge. This is how we can win in this player versus player game. We have to follow people that historically made good trades, but we also have to follow people that can move the markets. Here is the YouTube channel of Kyle Chessy. He's got 141,000 subscribers. And here are the wallets that we track by Kyle Chessy. So we've got 12 of his wallets. We've got more than 400 wallets in total. And that is how we get alerts like this, how he swapped for AI16Z at less than 2 cents. Now, Kyle Chessy is a guy that tends to make this VC approach, right? The venture capital approach, where you buy a lot of tokens with a lot of upside potential, but where you're already calculating that many of those tokens will go to zero. So the calculation is not necessarily that we can simply buy everything that Kyle Chessy buys and we make wins all the time. The calculation is rather that the wins are so large in magnitude that you can afford a lot of losses, right? When you've got one win that makes 100x, then you can have 9 out of 10 losers. It's still fine. You make very nice performance. This is what Kyle Chessy is doing. But have a look at this. We don't just have Kyle Chessy. We are also tracking Crypto Banter. We've got 33 of their wallets. And Crypto Banter clearly moves markets. They've got 1.1 million subscribers. Whenever they talk about a single token, of course, this brings a lot of attention. Attention then brings purchases. Purchases then bring increasing prices. Or check this out. This is Alex Becker. We've got 12 of his wallets. He's got even more subscribers. He's got 1.5 million and he tends to talk about small tokens as well, again influencing prices. And so this is all part of the premium membership of this channel. It's down below. It's thebitcoinstrategy.com. Feel free to check it out. There's not just wallet tracking alerts, right? We've also got tutorial videos, more than 100 in total, on topics like risk mitigation, portfolio diversification, back testing, and of course also wallet tracking. There's even a dedicated tutorial course on just how to find influencer wallets and how to then track them and how to subsequently also interpret the signals that we get from the tracking. Once we've got a signal, we also have to discuss, of course, when should we buy, when should we sell, what are the current on-chain analytics, etc. That's why we've got dedicated chats on the individual altcoins in premium as well. So feel free to check it out. It's currently $165 per month. There's also a 1-week money back guarantee. So in case you don't like premium, in case you don't learn anything, then feel free to simply just message me within the first 7 days and I'll refund you 100%. There's really zero risk for you. Now, does it make sense still to buy unicorn fart dust? Is there enough upside potential? What could potentially drive the price from here? How much more could we go higher? Could we go 5x, 10x, 100x? What's realistic? Now, at the beginning of this video, I've mentioned how Across the Rubicon bought the token already for 2 cents, and now we are at around 10 cents. But here's the thing, Across the Rubicon already sold. They sold at 6 cents, so they took a 3x profit in a matter of just 1 day. And yes, they touched the token afterwards again, took another slight profit. And there is a bit more in and out by other successful traders, but still, I do not necessarily see across the board accumulation by a lot of smart wallets. The smart wallets bought upon launch and then sold very quickly afterwards. That being said, In theory, there is a lot of upside because the market cap of unicorn fart dust is only 100 million. And that's relatively small in the Solana meme coin ecosystem. There are plenty of tokens that are 200 million, 300 million, 500 million, etc. But once we get into the 500 million level, at that point, we need to see involvement by the centralized exchanges. You're not going to get a 500 million market cap meme coin without any centralized exchange listings. And again, right now, Unicorn Fart Dust is mainly traded decentralized. Yes, it can be purchased on Maxi, but this is not where the price discovery happens. The price discovery still happens on-chain, on Radium and Orca, etc. So really what I want to see is more and more ownership of the token by the whales. We don't see whale accumulation right now, and so I'm not really sure how close a centralized exchange listing really is. Usually the on-chain metrics look very different for an upcoming listing. That being said, there's also not a lot of leverage in the price. So buying right now for 10 cents is probably not the worst in the world, but are we going to hit the 50 cents maybe in 2 or 3 weeks? Probably not. Without smart money and without the market makers buying in, it's very hard to reach those new heights. If you got some value out of this video, feel free to subscribe. I publish these regularly. A like would be very much appreciated as well. It helps the channel grow. See you in the next video or see you in premium. Cheers.